Hey guys, Dr. Bergmann here again at Rosemary Jones Chiropractic. This week we're going to go over some stretching exercises and strengthening exercises for you to do if you have low back pain or discomfort when you sit for a long period of time, or if you're sitting at your desk or in a car. So the first thing that we're going to do is a hip flexor stretch. So the hip flexor is a muscle in the front of your leg here that runs up from your hip and actually attaches into your low back or lumbar spine. So if you sit for a long period of time, that muscle can get short, like we had talked about in the last week's video. So to stretch that out, it's really going to take a lot of pressure off the low back. So what she's going to do is if it's uncomfortable for you, you can get a small towel and you rest your knee on that. She's going to bring this knee forward and she's going to stretch down. So you can see she's just sinking her hips straight down. She's not leaning her chest forward, so she's not coming forward like this. She's not really arching her back that way. It's just straight up and down. So she relaxes and then she brings her hips straight down. So by doing that, she's going to feel a lot of stretching in the front of her hip there, and that's really going to help open up those hips and stretch that out and take care of a lot of that pain that you're feeling if you're sitting for a long period of time. So as always, if you have two arms, you have two legs, we always want to stretch both sides. So she just switch sides then. You may notice that it's easier to do on one side or the other. You may be able to get more of a stretch. So the further this leg comes away from your body, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. So if you start out and you feel like it's not doing enough, kick your foot out further, and that's going to help stretch more. The next exercise that we're going to do is to help strengthen the glutes, or the big muscles in the back. So those are the big power muscles in your body. So if your hip flexors get tight, your glutes or your butt muscles are going to get weak. So what we're going to do here is to help do some core exercises as well as strengthen the glutes. So what she's going to do is she's going to bring her right arm off the ground and her left leg off the ground. So she's going to rock this way. So if you slide towards me, we won't kick things in the room. There we go. So bring this arm forward, bring this leg back, and you can see that her hips are level. Pretend that you've got a glass of water on your back and you don't want it to tip off. Go ahead and drop down. Now we're going to switch and do it on the other side as well. Now from here, what I don't want is for this hip to hike up to get your leg up in the air, and I don't want this hip to drop when you bring it up either. So really try to focus on keeping this nice and level, and that's going to help strengthen the glute muscle here as well as muscles in the low back. So again, you can alternate from side to side. And again, these should be pretty easy exercises to do. And if there's any discomfort or any pain with those, it should be something that should be assessed or evaluated by a chiropractor. The second thing that you can do, and this to help with the glutes, is they're called glute squeezes. So they're exactly what they sound like. You just squeeze the glutes, you squeeze the butt muscles. So a lot of times when we talk about this with patients, they think of squeezing the butt as more of like a pelvic floor squeeze or what they call a Kegel exercise, and that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. Those can be beneficial, but that's not what I'm talking about. So what we try to pretend, and what I tell people is pretend you've got a $100 bill and it's windy outside and that bill is stuck right between your cheeks and you don't want that to blow away. Okay, so that squeeze, the squeeze of the cheeks, is what I want. So that's something you can do in the car when you're driving. You can do it while you're sitting at your desk at work. But just by squeezing and holding those muscles, it's going to automatically let those hip flexors in the front relax. So that's something that you can do. Again, if there's any discomfort or any pain with any of that, it should be evaluated and checked out. So I hope those exercises help you guys. Again, I appreciate you watching our videos. I'm Dr. Dave Bergmann here at Rosemary Jones Chiropractic.